Today's video will be based on calibrating a bucket that has noticeable bucket wear or has been fitted with a new cutting edge with the Xsite PRO system. With the system turned on, select the left menu. Click on the setting icon next to buckets as shown. Select the bucket to be calibrated and click on the edit button. Select Quick Calibration. There are 3 measurements that need to be done in order to calibrate your bucket. The length or bucket length value is measured from the center of the stick/quick hitch pin straight down to the cutting edge of the bucket, as shown in the bottom images. It is very important to measure this length from the correct pin. All values should be measured to the millimeter and not rounded to the near centimeter. To measure the right and left widths, it is standard practice to measure the full width of the bucket's cutting edge and divide this value by 2. If the bucket doesn't fit tightly in the hitch, or you have an asymmetric bucket, you will need to measure the left and right width from the center of your stick out to the cutting edge shown in the image on the bottom right of screen. Once the values have been inputted, click the next arrow on the bottom right. In order to continue the calibration, the chassis of your machine must have a minimum roll value. To achieve this, simply rotate your machine slowly until the value next to roll turns green and stop rotating the machine. There should be 2 locations in a full 360-degree rotation where the roll value is green. Once the value is constantly green and the machine is stationary, press the next arrow. You cannot rotate the machine for the rest of the calibration. If you do rotate, you will get the same rotate machine. In this step, attach your calibration magnet with plumb line to the center of the stick/hitch pin shown on the right. The calibration magnet and plumb line is provided with all systems when initially installed. The calibration magnet is not a necessity for this step. However, if you do not have one, you may require a helper to assist in this step. Allow the plumb line to hang vertically down and crowd the bucket so that the edge is just barely touching the string of the plumb line and click Calibrate. Once calibrated, click the next arrow. We will now verify the accuracy of the calibration for our new bucket. Place the bucket flat on solid ground, making sure the cutting edge is touching the ground and not floating above as shown in the image. Make a mark on the ground where the cutting edge is and press the 0 button. Now, lift up the bucket and crowd the bucket away from a machine a significant amount and place the cutting edge back on the mark. The cut/fill value should be within 10 millimeters or 0.01 meters. The reach value should also be very close to 0, indicating that you are on the mark point. If the accuracy values shown are acceptable, click on the tick and keep clicking on the tick until you are back on the operating screen. You have successfully calibrated your bucket. If your machine has a tilt module, it is recommended to test the accuracy with a 2D project and a plane surface. If the values shown are not acceptable, you must restart the calibration. Measure the bucket length and widths again, making sure it is to correct pin, and make sure the plumb line calibration is done accurately.